Welcome back, everybody. All right, so we now have an image, but in this case it's too big, and sometimes you get images that are just too big. So what do we need to do here? We can actually change a lot of properties with this image tag. The first thing that we can do is we can actually change the height. So all you need to do is type in height equals, and then watch this. I'm just going to type in 100, okay? And as you can see, this is now 100 pixels. Now, if you don't know what a pixel is, your monitor is made up of thousands of these pixels, and a pixel is just, think about it, if you were to really take a magnifying glass to your computer, you'd see that there's a bunch of little squares, and depending on what color that pixel is assigned, it will be the color. So if you have a bright orange screen, every single pixel will be orange, and we also have the red, green, and blue colors. So for example, if we had a red screen, all the pixels would be just like 100% red, and if we had a blue screen, all the pixels would be 100% blue. Alright, so anyway, the pixels on a computer are actually quite a bit smaller than the pixels you would see on a TV usually, depending on what kind of TV you have. Alright, so we now have the height is 100, and you can see I can make this as much as I want. It can be 200 pixels, and then you can see that that's a lot bigger. Now, one thing that you've also noticed is that the width, meaning how long it is, has also changed. So if we watch this here, and we change height to width, alright, you see the width is now 200, and the height is something else. Now, if you only select the width, it will adjust the width to whatever you set it to, and it will adjust the height to whatever that means proportionally. So it's going to adjust the image evenly. But watch this, okay? So if I type in height equals, and I type in 100, okay, you'll see that the image is a little bit distorted, and I'll do 50 just to make it a little bit more obvious here. So what's happened here is that we end up with something called a ratio with every image. So an image is either is a certain width and a certain height, and we can change the amount of height in terms of it being even. For example, if you had an image that was 100 pixels by 100 pixels, so that's a perfect square, by the way. What would end up happening is if you wanted to make it twice as big, it'd be 200, 200. But if you made it 150 and 200, it would look weird. It wouldn't be a square anymore. And so this would be a 1-to-1 ratio, meaning that the width is exactly the same as the height. Okay? So you can have as many ratios as you want. For example, you could have 2-to-1. The width could be 200 and the height could be 100. Or 1-to-2. The width could be 100 and the height could be 200. Now, a lot of times you'll see the ratio of 16 to 9, and that is usually what a TV is. All right. So if you put in the width or you put in the height, it's up to you whether you want to put in the width or the height. But if you put in one of them, it will what we call scale proportionally. All right. And so that's how you change the width and the height and essentially the size of your image. I'll see you guys in the next tutorial.